When you are learning to program at some point, you will get stuck. This is absolutely normal for beginners and also experienced users in programming. When you're stuck and before you can get help from anyone else, your first step should be to assess your situation. I mean to question yourself and what you are trying to do, and what result you have been getting. Solving programming problems is not as difficult as you may think. Let's do an example. Type in A plus B, and then press enter. An arrow occurs in red color. Python prints a traceback when an exception is raised in your code. A traceback is a report containing the function calls made in your code at a specific point. It's not necessary to understand what the error message means right now, but I'll give you a brief explanation. This is a name error, one of the most common types of Python errors. A name error means that you've tried to use a variable that does not yet exist. A name error is raised when you try to use a variable or a function name that is not valid. In Python, code runs from the top to bottom. This means that you cannot declare a variable after you try to use it in your code. Python would not know what you wanted the variable to do. In our example, we have not declared a variable called A and a variable called B. To solve this problem, we need to declare A and B before we use them in our code. There are two main kinds of errors. A syntax error basically means that you made a punctuation mistake. These are the most common errors. Get used to reading that you've typed very closely and comparing it very carefully to what you should have typed. Logic errors occur when you've misunderstood what you're trying to do or what you've asked Python to do. These errors can be difficult to spot and more difficult to track down. The easiest way to get help is by copying the error message into the Google search, and you should see tons of links explaining what the error message means and what causes it. You can also try asking people directly in a web forum such as Stack Overflow. Here is the web address. Stack Overflow is one of the most popular question and answer sites for programmers. It's very reliable because users can vote on the responses they find most helpful, so the best answers are usually the first ones you'll find. Another way to find help is through the official Python documentation. Here is the web address. It's useful and contains a lot of documentation. Finally, a great web page is pythontutor.com. It has a tool to write or paste Python program and visualize what the computer is doing step by step as it executes those programs.